So thank you guys so much for watching. I just need you guys to know that now I'm in that center. I'm actually inside the compound of the rehab itself. And I need you guys to know that it's a very cool green place that has different structures. As you can see, most of these structures that you see right now are just small hardwares. And let me say, small go-downs, which are meant to just act as training facilities for these kids. Because as you can see there, sometimes I always see the kids, their trainers always use these old cars to teach them about cars. And sometimes I think maybe this is the engineering department where they just teach these kids about engineering and all that. So most of the time, this is an open place that you can visit. And hello everyone. So today I'm doing something totally different. So there's a rehabilitation center from this side of Kiambu County that I've always wanted to cover. I've always wanted to cover the story of this special and unique rehabilitation center, because it's a rehabilitation center that is actually more than 100 years old. And I've always wanted to cover the story of this special institution. And that's exactly what I'm going to do right now. So by the time I'm recording this, it's 6:50. It's 10 minutes to 7. So I just need you guys to know that I'm going to give you guys the whole story about this rehab center. And you guys are going to learn more about this place. It's a special institution. So most rehabilitation centers are always meant for adults. But this one is unique because it's a rehabilitation center for underaged kids who are not yet 18 years old, who in one way or the other found themselves in the wrong side of the law by committing serious crimes and petty crimes. But this institution was specifically built to just rehabilitate these underage kids and make sure that they are okay. But most of the time, what they do is that they only take care of them for 6 years or 3 years, a maximum of 6 years and a minimum of 3 years. So I just need you guys to know that it's a very unique institution, and I'll show you guys everything when I'm there. Finally, I'm here. This is Lower KABETE in Kiambu County, and the place where I'm standing right now, this is the main entrance of the Directorate of Children's Services, which manages the KABETE Rehabilitation Center. This is a special and extraordinary institution which was established in the year 1910. It's actually more than 100 years old. It was established by the colonial government, the British government, because Kenya was colonized by the British. So one of the questions I always used to ask myself was like, what does the government always do with the kids who commit crime? When kids who are still underage commit crime, serious crimes, what does the government do? And through research, I noticed that specifically the Kenyan government, what they do is that they make sure through the children's department that these kids are taken care of in a very unique way, because at that age, when these kids are not yet adults, they still need education, good education. So these rehabilitation centers act like special confinement or correctional facilities for these underaged kids. And this is why, sometimes it's good to give credit where it's due. And I think the government is actually doing a good job in that department. The KABETE Rehabilitation Center has a school which is currently a home to several underaged boys who have been confined for committing both serious and petty offenses. The institution is run through a unique collaboration between the Ministry of Labor and Social Protection, and it specifically caters to children sentenced to a maximum of 3 years confinement. Sometimes it goes to 6 years, but only if they bring you to the same institution twice. So it goes to a maximum of 6 years, but that will be 3 years done twice. If maybe they bring you to the rehabilitation and then you're released back to the society, but later on, but as the children department monitors your movement and your behavior change, they notice that you still have to be rehabilitated, then they will bring you back for another 3 years. So that will be 6. This special institution only admits underaged individuals who cannot be sent to normal jails and prisons because they need these individuals who are still underaged need delicate nurturing and access to education. I'm actually inside the compound of the rehab itself, and I need you guys to know that it's a very cool green place that has different structures. As you can see, most of these structures that you see right now are just small hardwares and let me say small go-downs, which are meant to just act as training facilities for these kids. Because as you can see there, sometimes I always see the kids, their trainers always use these old cars to teach them about cars. And sometimes I think maybe this is the engineering department where they just teach these kids about engineering and all that. So I'm actually inside the compound of the rehab. They've built it in such a way that you don't feel like you're in a prison or a jail. It's more like a home for these kids because it's more like a correctional facilities. They're trying to give these underaged kids life skills so that by the time they finish their sentence, so-called sentence, because it's actually a jail, but in a polite way, in a good way, they try to make sure that they provide a family setup so that these kids grow in an environment where they are given life skills like engineering, masonry, carpentry, and all this. So it's a very special institution that has managed to rehabilitate thousands of kids from this area and other parts of the country. The Children's Department here in Kenya performs follow-ups on the boys once they leave the institution and once they have completed their rehabilitation term with the special assistance of their parents. That's why the Children's Department officers observe the behavior patterns in the boys once in a while, because the rehabilitation center is meant to correct them, to teach them life skills. And that's why they are readmitted into the society while making reports on a monthly basis. And this one is done by the Children's Department. So the history of this place is just amazing, because I can just imagine what it takes to manage such an institution. But every institution, no matter how perfect it is, every institution has its own challenges, because in most rehabilitation centers that are managed by the government, one of the biggest challenges that they always have to go through is that sometimes it takes time before the government sends funds to these institutions, because government fund has to go through parliament. Sometimes it has to go through a process before the institutions get the money that the government is supposed to send to them. And that's why I personally think like it's not bad, but sometimes if there's one part that I'd like to maybe convince or just tell the Kenyan government to make sure that maybe they find a special strategy on how they handle it, is the money that they allocate to these rehab centers. Because of course the government funds these institutions, but they don't fund everything. They just give them the basic needs. But things like toiletries, things like normal small things, these day-to-day things, sometimes, for example, when you visit these places, please always make sure that you carry along these things, and it makes it easy for these centers to run when normal citizens just visit these places and make sure that they help them to just take care of these kids. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I need you guys to know that I really appreciate, and I don't take it for granted that you guys always watch my videos. So see you guys tomorrow for another video. Thank you.